Hey everyone, I have read your discussion board posts today and have provided feedback to you in the rubric that is assigned to that discussion board. Be sure that you're going in and reading that feedback that's provided. Open up the rubric and check all of the boxes. Normally I comment on everything within the rubric, either thoughts or questions or things I want you to think about. So in general, this was a fully successful discussion board. You guys really got into the nuts and bolts of these provisions. I was excited that everybody did the provision they were assigned to. So we had a really robust discussion of not just the provisions in general, but all of the provisions were addressed in several opportunities, depending on how many students were assigned to it. So I feel like it was very good to see you all exploring the topic. Someone had made the comment about this being the ethical provisions had been included in their undergraduate education as part of fundamentals, and that this is one of those topics that come up again and again and again. And that's absolutely correct. And the reason we kind of talk it to death is because it is so essential. It is also really hard. It is so hard to understand what real practice is, what real life is, and the fact that the ethical dilemmas that we deal with day in and day out almost feel like business as usual. It feels like it's just the way it is. In reality, there are ethical dilemmas. These decisions that we're making, where no decision feels good, when neither decision that we're given, the either ors, neither of them feel like they cover all the bases, or that someone's going to be harmed, or someone's going to be disappointed, or something's not going to be done if I choose this versus this. That's a real ethical dilemma. When we have processes and policies in place and we're not following them, that's not an ethical issue. That's a failure of leadership. It's a failure of policy compliance. But when we're faced with two competing opportunities, two competing decisions that really are touch points for complex issues, those are the things that we need to spend time thinking about. Very often they're the water cooler conversations. You know, you go into the break room and everybody's, talking over lunch, and you're talking about, that difficult patient that nobody wants to take care of and how we handle that, or the patient who's dealing with an end of the life issue and how the family's not supporting that end of the life issue. One of the areas that was recurrent with lots of you was the ethical issue that we face when there is poor staffing. Your classmate, Casey, summarized it well when Casey wrote, "It is the responsibility of management and administration to provide a safe work environment that supports appropriate patient care. This includes ensuring employees are competent, certified, and licensed." So what Casey's getting at is the culture of safety, the culture of policy compliance creates an opportunity where we have less ethical compromise. So one of the first things we can do to avoid ethical dilemmas is choose our employers well, choose our team well, so that we have the basic infrastructure from a leadership standpoint, from a colleague standpoint, that we all agree on the same values of competent, quality patient care, that the right people have been hired and put in the right seat on the bus, and that they're driving the process in an appropriate way. Outside of that, once you're on the bus and you are employed, living in that world, if it is not a place that supports safe practice, that doesn't manage its staffing policies well, can create a day in and day out ethical dilemma of, how do I protect my professional practice? How do I stay within my scope of practice? How do I maintain my own professional integrity and safety without walking off the floor, without quitting nursing altogether? This is tough stuff, guys. And if you felt like this was just an unduly painful exercise, please know that that was not my intent. The intent was to really have you spend time thinking about where the rubber hits the road. We can talk intellectually about the provisions. We can talk intellectually about what an ethical dilemma might look like. But when we look at real practice, what does that look like when we want to apply the code of ethics in the way it was intended, which is in practice? This is not supposed to be a theoretical document that hangs out on the internet. It's supposed to be a living and breathing document. It's supposed to be the underpinning of our practice. If we don't know it well, if we don't understand how it applies and guides our practice, then it really is just a Word document. So my hope is that if this was a struggle, that at the end of it, that you thought, okay, I can see that how this provision would have been helpful in this situation, or maybe have a better understanding of things. Lots and lots of good stuff. So I certainly appreciate your efforts with this. I want to talk just a minute. Your discussion board this coming week is the Professional Nursing Organization. This one's a fun one. It's really straightforward. And I gave you an intro about that this morning, so I'm not going to belabor the point. Follow the rubric, follow the assignment. You're in good shape. The thing I want to talk about just for a moment is your analysis of contemporary professional issues paper. It's the reason I have your Blackboard opened up in the background. The important things for you are to first and foremost understand that the assignment instructions and the rubric are a real thing. And I want you to spend time thinking about this. Do not wait until the last minute and try to throw this together. There is a reason that it is 40% of your grade. Okay, so knowing that it's 40%, plan on allotting your time and your attention for a successful outcome for this project. So here's the link that opens up the analysis of contemporary issues assignment. So I can get it to open. So here is the instructions, and I'm not going to read it to you. You guys are very capable of doing that. What I want to do is okay, here we go, is to guide you through the general structure. So the course outcomes are met by this, just tells you why you're doing it. The assignment instructions are here. You select a contemporary issue, and then you're going to take that issue and you're going to investigate it, and you're going to look for scholarly, evidence-based research to explore the topic. Under this bullet point, your VoiceThread presentation will. These are the elements that are required. So if you, for the VoiceThread, you're going to start with a PowerPoint presentation. So open up a PowerPoint of just a plain flat PowerPoint and title your slides based on these elements so you won't accidentally forget something. And then begin to explore your topic using this as your guide. Remember that this is a scholarly endeavor. This is not a website search, although you can use scholarly websites, a few, but you really need to be in the research. You need to look at what the literature says about this topic. When we talk about scholarly material, which is your last bullet point, include 5 to 7 scholarly references. One bullet below, I take the time to tell you what this looks like. So your references should be no more than 5 years old. They need to be in APA formatted. If you use them on the slide, put an in-text citation on the slide that you're using it on, okay? The last slide in your presentation is going to be your reference slide. Make the font small enough that they all fit on that slide. Normally, a PowerPoint slide in 12 font will fit, 5 to 8 references. So make sure your last slide has references. Otherwise, your whole slide presentation is going to be without a foundation, and that's not going to end well for you. So make sure that you are, as you're building this, use those 5 to 7 scholarly references to answer these questions that are specific to your selected topic. And I'm not going to read this to you. I just want to point out that the structure of this matters. So as you begin to think about this, start with a blank PowerPoint, build the slides so you don't accidentally forget something. Anticipate that last slide being your references and that they're going to be in APA format, and they're going to follow the required elements of what scholarly references look like, that they are recent, that they're from a good source, that they're not an opinion or an editorial, that they're actually research and evidence-based recommendations. And then you're going to explore the topic. So pick something that's relevant to your practice. If there's something that's not on this list, touch base. I'm not opposed to looking at other topics. I just want to make sure, one of the things that we struggle with as a capstone course is trying not to be overly redundant on topics that you've already seen, as well as staying relevant. So I think we've covered quite a few interesting topics, or at least I hope you feel that way. For your VoiceThread, so you're going to do your PowerPoints. Once you get your PowerPoint done, save it on your desktop. You're going to load your PowerPoint into VoiceThread. Before I switch out, let me make sure. Here are some great websites. If you were going to use a website to support your scholarly research, these would be appropriate. I'm not going to read them to you, but they're good sources. So let me get out of this. All right. So that was the assignment. Here is a tutorial for how to use your VoiceThread. And here's the links that you need to know. So you've done your PowerPoint, you've set up all your slides, you've put all your information. Remember, a good PowerPoint presentation includes just enough words to keep the person's interest. It should not be overly wordy. It should have pictures, tables, graphs that are appropriate for the content, that look professional. So when we craft a PowerPoint, we don't want a slide full of words, and we don't want crazy pictures that don't relate to anything. Also, avoid really harsh colors. Think about if I showed this to my team at work and I put it up on in the break room and showed it to everybody, would they be interested in the topic? Would it be attractive? Would it be aesthetic? So think about that, because that is on your assignment rubric. That it has to be professionally presented. So get that all done with your PowerPoint. Get your slides set out. Get it done so that all of it is the way you want it to be. Personally, when I do this, I use the notes section in PowerPoint to type up my notes, so that as I'm doing a voiceover, or if I have to do a presentation, I have my notes already on the slide that it corresponds to. So that's an option. If you're someone that does sticky notes, or you just want to do it on the fly, that's okay too, except remember there's a time limit, 10 to 12 minutes. Again, if you go back under and you put your notes under the PowerPoints in the PowerPoint presentation, normally if this is supposed to be 12 minutes and you have 12 slides, that means you have about a minute on each slide. So that's only a couple sentences. So plan carefully, okay? Get your PowerPoint done, get your slides aesthetic, get your notes if you're going to use them, and then you're going to go into VoiceThread. VoiceThread is a two-part step. First, you're going to do your VoiceThread. You're going to create a VoiceThread, and it's literally this simple. You're going to go into VoiceThread, and it's going to launch it. VoiceThread is not part of Blackboard. It is integrated from another server or service. So it's tucked into Blackboard, but it gives you a delay. So if it's wandering for a few minutes, that's all it is. And all you'll do is you'll add your own. You can use Create One if you want. Once you get that prompt, it's going to give you a prompt to load your presentation and to step you through that process. I put tutorials up for you. So you're going to have them here. So before you start, watch the tutorial and get the tidbits. It is super straightforward. You'll load your PowerPoints, you'll click record, there's a little microphone in the bottom, and you'll do a voiceover for each slide that you do. After you do the comments for that slide, you'll next and add comments for the next one, and you'll do that until you're done. So if you're following these steps, you're going to be in good shape. Prepare your presentation in PowerPoint before you load it into VoiceThread. VoiceThread is only used to add your voiceover comments for you to do your presentation on. All of this is going to be loaded into VoiceThread and then saved. You're going to save your file. Then you're going to go in, and there's steps for here we go. How to generate a URL. I've given you step-by-step instructions on generating a URL. The reason you have to go into VoiceThread and submit your presentation and save your document there and then share the URL is so that I can grade it. And that's as simple as it is. Because VoiceThread is not part of Blackboard, it's not integrated, there's no way to put it with the rubric so that I can give you feedback. Otherwise, it's out there in the World Wide Web and I can view it all day long, but Blackboard won't give me the rubric that's electronically connected to it so that I can give you feedback. By going into your assignment link, all you have to do is drop in the URL from your presentation, hit submit, and everything gets activated and I can give you feedback on the rubric. I know this sounds like a lot. It can be a little tedious because there's lots of little steps, which is why you need to begin now and get this done early. What we found was VoiceThread was an easier option than trying to do a voiceover PowerPoint and then loading it into YouTube, then getting the YouTube link and then adding it into Blackboard. YouTube does not do real well with PowerPoint sometimes, and if you have compatibility issues, it was just really, really hard for some students. VoiceThread's something that we pay for, it's something we own. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, and you're in good shape. So, My hope is that you are going to enjoy the topic that you picked, that you're going to know more about it when you're done, and that you're going to polish your presentation skills and present this in a way that you feel proud of the work you've done. And I can see your efforts and your success by viewing all of your viewing all of your VoiceThread presentations. As you go through this, if you have questions or concerns, please touch base with me. Again, I think I said this last week. I know being on the online world, you feel like you're on an island all by yourself. You are not. Know that I'm here. Touch base and let me know how you are if you need help. I hope you are having a good week. If anybody is curious about how I am spending my day, there are so many things. The first thing I am doing is I'm babysitting. This is the first and only grandchild. This is baby Holly. She is 4 months old in this picture. So we have been babysitting quite a bit. So that has taken up a lot of my summer, not every day, just an occasional Friday. And then I am a super crazy person. I love to organize. So I organized my utility closet, and then I took a picture of it to show how happy I was that I organized my utility closet. So my hope is that however you are spending your day, it is exciting, that you are enjoying whatever is left of your summer. If you're someone that gets some time off in summer, that you have used it in a way that refills your well and helps you feel refreshed. We are almost, I think this would be kind of considered the halfway point in the course. So you are so close to being done. And many of you, this is the capstone and you are done, which is an amazing feeling. When I did my RN to BSN, I was a summer graduate too. I finished in August. I think it was 2004. And it almost felt kind of anticlimactic because I wasn't caught up in the summer graduation routine of everybody graduating in May. But I had one heck of a party and I was very glad. So I hope whatever you're doing, for those of you capstone finishing people, that you have something really fun planned and that you're going to celebrate. Let me know how you are. If you need anything, touch base. Otherwise, I will see you next week.